Where are you seeing the three freshman corners develop the most from the spring now, halfway through fall?
I think they're obviously a lot more comfortable than they were in the spring. About the fourth or fifth time that we've had installs, you're seeing less and less alignment issues. You see a lot more execution on a consistent basis. And again, they're competing at a different level because they're able, because they know it more, and it's good to see. You got some of the guys making plays. Consistently, all three of them are making something happen, during the practice.
Willie, with Wesley and Tamarian kind of working their way back, how is that kind of giving you a different sort of opportunity to look at some different guys in different places in your secondary and sort of cross training?
Yeah, the great thing about getting the five new guys, from spring, now we've got the depth that we can actually be versatile. We want to always be versatile, on the back end where we got guys that can move around, and that's given us that opportunity now. Where they haven't gotten all the reps, that T-Mac and Wesley have had, but it's given some guys some opportunities now to show what they can do inside, whether you're a safety or a corner. It's been really good for us.
Adam and then Ben.
When you're talking about experienced players and what their capabilities are, what their limitations are, is that determined more by what you've seen on game film in the past, or more of what you're seeing guys do at practice now?
I think it depends on who it is, right? You're looking at somebody like Gabe Judy that's had a lot of football, right? Played a lot of football, and you can see that when he comes here in practice. And whether we put in something that's totally different name-wise, schematically, it's really the same thing. He sees it the same way. The words are different, so you see that quick, adjustment for him, and he can make a bunch of plays. And then you got the guys that have to learn it, like the younger guys. Everything. They don't have that game experience, or especially the game experience where they've had their failures to a certain scheme or coverage that we have called. And Gabe has that. He's had plenty of reps, game reps, where the younger guys don't. So that's when you're talking about the experience. Now the experience that's been really good for the young guys is being here since January and seeing how the whole thing works, how we manage the team, how do we work, the competition, I'm a really good player coming in here, but then they see the development of guys that have been here for a year or 2 years. Strength and power, I guess, is something, where somebody like Gabe that's coming from a different situation where he has a ton of game experience. He understands it. He knows if he's lagging a little bit, he knows where he needs to pick it up. That's what I mean. That's where it's different.
What about returning players? McCullough,
Yep.
Madden, Burrell.
Okay, those are great. Obviously, now it's the same thing. I'll throw Jalen's the same way. Has a lot of game reps. Warren Burrell has a lot of game reps. Had an injury, been out for a long time. Comes right back, snapping clears. He kind of knows all the stuff that we know how we have to perform schematically. Confident. He knows that he's been there. He's had some of the good and the bad. And it helps him snap and clear a lot sooner because he knows he's had some good reps in games.
Ben.
Willie, just how much has D'Amico, I guess, grown in that corner position now that he's kind of playing there more frequently and I guess not cross-training as much? Just how much more comfortable in year two is he at that spot?
Yeah, we've been very intentional of just leaving him at corner. He could play all the other positions, but like a lot of guys, it's really good just let him learn that position. And it's not easy playing out there, obviously in the corner, on the edge. You not only do you have this, you have to have the skill set, which he does. You got to have also the amount of experience of being out there by yourself, the confidence that you need, and you got to put days together. You got to put periods together. In the practice where you see some consistency. Okay, you can't get down on yourself. You know what I mean? And they're priceless. The reps that he's had this whole time in camp, he's built a lot of confidence. You can see it in his playmaking. You see a lot more consistent playmaking. You see less mistakes. And it's very beneficial.
We'll go Casey and then Paige.
You talked a little bit about how those game reps help the guys snap right back into practice with that experience. But what about how you want to see that experience and the years of college experience that a lot of your guys bring play out as the season goes forward, and how do you think that's going to benefit?
Well, again, I think that having depth at the back end is very important because I don't think you can go through a whole season okay? With just 5 guys just playing. It happens. You know, this league is way too good. So the more players that you have experience and have proven it on the field gives you a chance to be more consistent as a secondary. Okay, that would be the first thing. And you know, and then seeing them, you know, the small things in practice, do the things that, you know, that matter, the fundamentals, the technique, the footwork that needs to happen on a 3rd down or a 4th down. If you can show it consistently in the practice, then it'll show up on game day. You know, that's where the experience comes in that I was like speaking earlier about.
Hey,
For Brandon Turnage back here again, what jumps off the page for you about him?
Turnage. Okay, I'm sorry. Brandon is going to start off with his energy. You know, it doesn't. There's no problem that Brandon's not going to try and solve really quickly. You know what I mean? It's just he sees the glass half full. You know, I think everybody understands what that means. But he's got a smile on his face, and he doesn't let the last play affect him, good or bad. You know, he just on to the next play, which we keep on saying all the time: snapping clear. Every coach says it on our staff and across the country. I know that, but he gives you a chance because he's smart. He gives you a chance because he's a guy who's selfless. And he understands our defense, and he's got playmaking ability. When he's healthy, Brandon is as good as it gets, you know, and just got to continue to keep him, you know, in the right frame of mind and keep on pushing him to a stand, you know, where he could continue to show the consistency he showed when he got the opportunity last year when he was healthy.
Patrick, and then back to Ben.
Willie, what kind of camp has Kamal had, and how different is he from a year ago?
Consistency. He's been very consistent since January, every day. It's been, you know, it's just the small details that matter. You know, off the field, let's talk about off the field. He's always been good off the field, but he's really made a point this last, you know, spring and summer. You know, he's just graduated. You know, that's something really big to accomplish, but he did it with a 3.2 GPA. You know, I mean, he was one of those guys that 75 to 90 guys that were over, you know, the 3.0 average. So that's given him confidence. The small details is, you know, being able to do the healthy enough to get through a spring. It's his first spring he ever made, you know, last year since he's been here. That gave him a chance to develop, you know, with his teammates and see where he would be at on a consistent basis, and he showed that. And then through the summer, and then now in camp. So the consistency, you know what I mean, attention to small details, being a good teammate, you know, that's something that he has grown.
I'll take a few more. I'll go to Ben, Robin, and Ryan.
Well, it seems like those veteran guys in the past, they're frequently in positions to make the play, but maybe struggle to consistently finish the play.
Mhm.
And I know that kind of comes with being a DB. You're gonna have your good, you're gonna have your bad. But how do you get a DB that's in good position often? How do you get them to finish the play and finish the rep?
You got to do it in practice. You know what I mean? You got to see it over and over where they're actually doing it in practice, where it builds some confidence and creating good habits, you know, and that's where I think it's going to show up in the games. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, I've been around, you know, certain players that do it the right way in practice, do it the right way in the classroom and can't make plays. You know, I get that, but I think we have a bunch of guys that, with the experience, you know, do this. We've been really on them about the small details, you know, that matter. And then building, you know, where you have good habits, where it just comes natural, and the opportunities come up in the fourth quarter or the winning moments that they kind of produce. But they got to do it out in the practice field. That's where you see it most. That's where it builds a confidence.
Robin.
Coach, it's rare in this business to have a staff, defensive staff, be intact like this has for 3 years in a row. Where does that show up on the field? Where do your players see the benefit of that consistency?
Saying the same things, you know, over and over. I think that it's, you know, we've built, you know, the guys, the people that have been in this program now for going on our third year, they see how the culture was flipped, and to have the same, you know, the majority of the staff, you know, together has helped, obviously, number one, with the older players, the guys that, you know, now they can, you're getting more players that have been here for those 3 years that going on our third year, saying the things that we're saying to them when we're not around, or even, you know, it becomes tougher for us to get a word in practice. I think you've been up here, and there's probably multiple coaches that have said it. You know, we're not coaching the small things anymore. The players are doing. You know, that's where, you know, it benefits where you have consistency in the staff, saying the same thing. You know, the words, you know, mean something because you're very consistent, because you actually work hours and hours and hours in a certain scheme, or, you know, and to hear it the same thing coming from the same coaches, it matters to the players for the consistency
Ryan,
to buy in.
Andre Turrentine, just what have you seen from him this offseason and in camp, and kind of year 1 to year 2, how have you seen him grow?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Dre's 100 miles an hour, everything he does. You know, when he first got here, what I mean by that is that it's going to be 100% effort, the best he can, and he had to learn our package. Now that he learns it, you know, he's learned it and has a really good feel for it. It's built some confidence with him. He has a lot of energy that the players feed off of. He's making more and more plays in practice. That's obviously built confidence for himself, but also with his teammates. You know, they already know that Dre's going to go. He's going to go. He's going to give you relentless effort. You know, he has a lot of juice and a lot of energy. When he first got here, you know, it might have not been the right communication, but it was definitely, you know, he was. This is what it is. You know, if you're saying rip, 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 and even though it's supposed to be Liz, 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 I mean, gosh dog it, he was confident something. It's rip, rip, rip. You know, now he knows it, and guys really respect him for that because they feel his energy. They feel, you know, how important it means to him. He's asking great questions in the room, you know, where his teammates can see him from the left to the right, and it matters to him. And it's really great to see him because we've been, you know, he's taken a lot of reps here in camp, which is going to benefit us in the long run.
Thank you, Coach. Well played, Charlie, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.